I worked as a trainee and got 300 shilling a month. I also had to give my parents 100 shilling so I could buy food. In California in 1997, 5 days apart, two babies were born. They both had the same dad. There should have been only one. Arnold Schwarzenegger kept this crazy secret from everyone for 14 years, even though his maid brought the child to him every day. The boy got bigger and stronger, and he started to look just like him. For 14 years, no one said anything until Arnold finally said yes in treatment. After getting those 3 letters, the family never got over them. He was born in a small village in Austria after World War II in 1947. Gustav, his father, was the police chief in the area. He was a strict, harsh man who had been through a lot in World War II. Gustav had been buried alive in dirt and rocks for 3 days. But he didn't forget about the hard time. He took it home. Arnold grew up in a house where fear was the norm. His dad made him and his older brother Meinhard fight over who would get his love. It was a test to even pick flowers for their mom. It got worse when Gustav drank. As Arnold put it, this kind of violence, yelling and beatings, broke guys all over the country. There were a lot of these in Austria. It was the standard. Arnold didn't want to live in that world, though. He wished to get away from it. He wished to become well known. He didn't just escape in his dreams. He had a job. Arnold's breakfast was not free until he did 200 sit-ups and push-ups. He was only 4 years old. His father made sure that every morning was hard every day. It did not matter if it rained or snowed. It was time for football practice and studies after that. Reports of 10 pages. Every mistake has been fixed in red. They had to write a word 50 times if it was spelled wrong. Gustav thought that stress made people stronger. Arnold's brother Meinhard broke under it, but Arnold didn't. It was Meinhard who was sensitive, artistic, quiet, and smart. However, Arnold fought to leave, while Meinhard stayed inside. He drank a lot. In 1971, when he was only 24, Meinhard died in a car accident, for which he was drunk. In Kitzab, he hit a telephone pole. Arnold didn't go to the funeral, because he was already in America following his dreams. A lot of people didn't get why. But Arnold later made it clear. The thing that made me who I am also broke him. Their father also died a year after Meinhard. Arnold had scars, but he wouldn't let them define who he was. When I was 14, things changed. Arnold was playing football like he always did when his coach took the team to a gym near Thaler Sea Lake. That's where Arnold saw it. Lifting weights, men shape their bodies into pure strength. He was hooked right away. It was over for football. His life was all about iron now. He trained 6 days a week by age 15, when most people were only doing 3. He read every magazine he could find and watched all the movies with muscles in them. He became Junior Mr. Europe when he was 18 years old, and at age 20 he became the youngest Mr. Universe anytime. He had not only found a new hobby, but also a way to get away. But the story wasn't just an idea. There was a secret going on in the background, one that Arnold couldn't miss. In 1938, his dad Gustav joined the Nazi Party. It was official that he was accepted in 1941. He wasn't just a member. He was a stormtrooper with a brown shirt who worked for the SA. He fought in terrible fights from Poland to Leningrad as a master sergeant in the Nazi military police. Arnold didn't say anything for years. But in 1990, he asked the Simon Wiesenthal Center to look into the past of his father. At first, there were no reports of war crimes, but later investigations showed that Gustav was fully involved. Arnold never said he wasn't. He used it instead. When he spoke out against violence and hate, he said that he didn't want to see the broken men around him as a child again. Arnold did something brave for the first time when he was 19. After leaving Austria, he went to Munich. He only had a bag and a dream with him. When his 9 months of military service were over, he got off the train and into a new world. The city was huge, loud, and too much to handle. Arnold told himself, "This is going to be my new home." He moved into a one-room apartment on Christophstrasse and shared it with other athletes, such as Franco Columbu. It was hard to get money. He slept in a spare room at the gym sometimes. He didn't care, though. He was at last in the right place. He worked as a personal trainer at Schillerstrasse 36 and made just enough money to live on. It was old and there wasn't much room, but Arnold liked it just fine. He took advantage of the fact that it let him in. He worked out every day for 5 to 6 hours. Not an excuse. He worked out his weak spots, like his calves, thighs, and arms, doing up to 60 sets of hard work each time. He slept for 10 hours every night. There is no smoking or drinking, just rules. His apartment neighbors were also lifters. They worked extra jobs and trained together to keep each other going. It was more than just a place to lift weights at the gym. It turned into home. Then the big step forward came. Arnold won Mr. Universe in London in September 1967, when he was only 20 years old. He had tried before and lost, but this time he beat the American pick Dennis Tinerino. The win shocked everyone in the weightlifting world. Arnold had the best size, form, and showmanship of anyone. He posed for a picture without a shirt on in the snow when he got back to Munich. It wasn't cold to him. He wanted to be seen. It wasn't over after that win. It was the start. Arnold would go on to win Mr. 9 times, Mr. Olympia, and 5 times Miss, but people around the world knew about it already. His ways of training were both extreme and controversial. Arnold thought that people should do too much, while others stuck to short, organized workouts. He worked out his shoulders and back in the morning, and his legs, calves, and abs at night. 6 days a week. Do your shoulders, arms, and triceps in the morning the next day. Then work out your legs some more, and at night, your abs. In the off-season, he put on 20 to 30 pounds, bringing his weight up to 255 pounds. People told him he'd get tired, but he didn't. He kept pushing because he thought muscles had to be shocked in order to grow. There was some forced growth though. Arnold has said that he started using steroids in his late teens. The main ones he used were dianabol and testosterone. He said it was done with the help of a doctor and in small amounts. He said that he took 100 mg of testosterone every week and 3 dianabol pills every day. Steroids weren't banned back then, and people didn't think much about them. Still, some of his old gym buddies said he used more than he admitted, and was the one who got other people into it. Arnold never lied about being perfect, but he told it like it was. He had a heavy accent and only $20 in his pocket when he got off the plane in October 1968. Bruce Lee was only 21 years old. He wasn't very good at English. He did not know the way of life. He did know one thing though. He wished to do well in the United States. He was born in a small town in Austria right after World War II. He grew up poor and had to deal with strict rules and cold winters. He was already Mr. Universe by the time he was 20. That wasn't enough though. The dream was America. His dream began when he was 10 years old. His early years were hard. He didn't know how to read menus or slang. A lot of people laughed at him, but bodybuilders liked him. He got plates, clothes, and even a TV from strangers. He stayed with Joe Weider, who put on the biggest bodybuilding shows, and was paid just enough to train full-time. Arnold will never forget how nice that person was. He said a lot of times that he wasn't by himself. After only 2 years, at age 23, he became the youngest winner of Mr. Olympia ever. It seemed like he always won. He couldn't be beat from 1970 to 1975. He beat greats like Lou Ferrigno and Sergio Oliva. Arnold won the whole thing, even when Mr. Olympia tried to divide it up into weight groups. He shocked everyone in 1980 by coming back to win his 7th title. His first win only gave him $1,000. The prize had grown to $25,000 by 1980. Just by playing, he helped the sport grow. Arnold didn't win just because he was big though. He also used his mind. He got into the minds of his competitors. He had breakfast with Lou Ferrigno before a big show and told him he looked almost ready, which made Ferrigno doubt himself just hours before the show. It worked. Lou stopped moving. Arnold never let these things happen by chance. He joked around, spread stories, and made his opponents think twice. He thought they didn't deserve to win if they couldn't handle the stress. Arnold worked out like an artist while others just pulled weights. People told stories about how big his 22-inch arms were. He worked out his arms several times a week with tough, high-intensity workouts. He didn't just curl for hours though. He concentrated hard and linked his thoughts to every move. He even turned his wrists just the right way to make the outside head of his biceps stand out. He didn't just want size, he also wanted shape, detail, and beauty. It was then the cameras came. Pumping Iron came out in theaters in 1977. Arnold became well known and fitness became cool. But not everything in the movie was real. There were parts that were written, like the part about him skipping his dad's funeral, which wasn't even true. They made it look like 2 other lifters were competing with each other, just for fun. Arnold wasn't bothered. He played both the bad guy and the smart winner. He put his weight on it. It worked to get people to talk. They laughed at him when he tried to get into acting though. They didn't like his speech. They made fun of his name. He was even called Schnitzel by a boss. They told him to play bad guys, Nazis, or anything else but a hero. He wasn't like everyone else. Men in the 1970s were small, smart, and quiet. Arnold was not like that at all. He kept going anyway. Herodes in New York, his first movie, came out in 1970. It wasn't right. He was given the name Arnold Strong and had his voice changed. The movie didn't do well for 5 years. No big deals came his way. He waited his turn. Things changed in 1976. He got a part in the movie Stay Hungry. His accent worked this time. His charm shone through. He even won a Golden Globe for his first role. That win made things possible. He played the lead role in Conan the Barbarian in 1982. It cost $20 million to make and made $79 million around the world. It was a good bet. Arnold was a real movie star now. It wasn't a weakness that he was big, had an accent, or had a strange screen personality. Then 3 words changed the course of events. I'll be back. Arnold played the lead role in The Terminator in 1984. The movie made $78 million, but it only cost $6.4 million to make. His line, I'll be back, almost didn't make it. He didn't like the sound of it, but director James Cameron insisted. The saying became well known. Arnold was no longer just a star. He lived in myths. After that, the hits kept coming. He was the star of action movies. From 1985 to 1991, it made $57 million for Commando. $98 million was made by Predator, Red Heat, The Running Man, and Raw Deal. Each one helped his business grow. He wasn't going for it. He was making the style. But then he shocked everyone once more. He made a sitcom in 1988. Arnold was paired with Danny DeVito in Twins. It seemed like a crazy thought. There were 2 boys who didn't look alike. The movie made $216 million around the world, though it only cost $15 million to make. Arnold, DeVito, and the director all didn't accept their pay in order to get a cut of the money made. They all made more than $35 million. Arnold was able to do more than just blow things up. People would laugh at him. Then, in 1990, Total Recall came out. It cost $65 million to make, making it one of the most expensive movies ever. The effects were really cool. The movie made $261 million around the world. This was the first time sci-fi looked like this. Then the real monster came. The price for Terminator 2, which came out in 1991, was $12 million, which was the most ever at that time. It made more than $517 million around the world. The results were completely new. Arnold made $15 million, which made him the world's best paid actor. Arnold was always at the top of action movies. But 2 changed everything. By 1993, he had been named the world star of the decade. No one had any doubts. He was no longer just an athlete. It's not just an actress. To everyone, he was a hero. Arnold Schwarzenegger was very successful in 1996. He was a worldwide action star who was married to Maria Shriver. He was from the powerful Kennedy family and was getting ready to go into politics. He was living a dangerous double life behind closed doors, though. In that year, Arnold had an affair with their longtime maid, Mildred Baena, while Maria was pregnant with their 4th child. In spite of that, the news was not only about the affair. It was the time that really shocked me. Chris, their boy, was born on September 27, 1997, to Maria. After only 5 days, Mildred gave birth to Arnold's secret kid, Joseph. The 2 women who lived together were both pregnant at the same time. She would even bring Joseph, the baby, to the house. No one had any doubts. The birth record for Joseph named someone else as the father, Mildred's husband, Roleo Baena. But as Joseph got older, it became hard to miss how much he looked like Arnold. The truth finally came out, and it broke not only a marriage but also a family. Joseph lost touch with his half-siblings, and Mildred had to leave Bakersfield to get away from the chaos. Things got worse just when it looked like they couldn't get worse. The Los Angeles Times dropped a shock on Arnold in 2003, while he was running for governor of California. Over 30 years, 15 women said he touched them inappropriately, made sexual moves, or was rude to them. These weren't just general charges. He pulled one woman onto his lap and said sexy things to her. Another person said he took off her underwear against her will in an elevator. Others said they were groped on movie sets. It was called Gropegate by the media. But Arnold didn't let that stop him from running for office. He won the race with almost 49% of the vote, even though there was a scandal. He said the claims were false. After many years, he finally admitted in a Netflix documentary, "Forget all the excuses. It was wrong." His actions away from the screen only made things worse. In an interview with Esquire in 2003, he said things that shocked even his biggest fans. "When you see a blonde with big tits and a big ass, you think she must be stupid," he said. Sometimes they were smart, but the damage was already done. A lot of women's rights groups were furious. The streets were full of protesters. Critics said he was not only sexually inappropriate, but also highly biased against women. Some people who supported him said it was all part of his macho image. But more and more proof kept coming in. It wasn't just words either. Carla Barron, who was a stand-in on the 1988 season of Twins, told one of the scariest stories. She said Arnold and another guy put her between them, and Arnold, who had just smoked a cigar, stuck his tongue in her mouth. She said it looked like an ashtray made of human skin. He did something wrong, so she hit him and told him not to do it again. Even though he said sorry, she knew she couldn't fight him. Not in a business that looked out for its stars. With the help of other people on the set, her story became one of the most shocking cases of how Hollywood keeps quiet about powerful men. In spite of all this, Arnold won one of the most unexpected elections in the history of politics. He won the recall election on October 7, 2003, and became governor of California. He got more than 4.2 million votes. 43% of those voters were women, which is a shocking number given when the accusations were made. Hispanic supporters and 18% of Democrats even went along with him. The numbers shocked everyone. It was weird that his campaign cars were named after movies like Total Recall and Running Man. Arnold came in instead of Gray Davis. He was only the second governor of California who was not born in the state. Arnold didn't tone it down when he was in office. When Democrats didn't agree with his budget plan in 2004, he made fun of them in public. He said something like in a Saturday Night Live skit, "They are girly men." His supporters cheered, but the opposition was furious. They called it sexist and homophobic. State Senator Sheila Quayle called it obvious homophobia, and other people said he was bringing politics down to a low level. Arnold didn't give up. His spokesman made it clear that he would not say sorry. His reputation as a tough guy was used as a political tool a lot. But then the twist that no one saw coming. Arnold started pushing for progressive policies, even though he was known as a tough guy. In 2007, he pitched a $12 billion plan for health care for everyone that was supposed to cover all 6.5 million Californians, including illegal immigrants, don't have health insurance. It was what he called a shared responsibility plan. People were required to get insurance. It was up to employers to help pay. There had to be fair plans from insurers. Plus, people who stayed healthy got savings. Conservatives were very angry. The liberals were shocked. He also did everything he could to stop climate change. That same year, he backed the Global Warming Solutions Act, which made California the first state in the country to cut pollution. Green groups praised him for it, but Republicans didn't like it at all. He was now a political wild card because he was a conservative who pushed for liberal changes. But his big claims cost a lot. Cali had a $34 billion debt when he took power. It had grown to $91 billion by the time he left. That's an extra $57 billion. The early move he made to lower the car license fee cost the government billions of dollars in tax money. Then they borrowed money, $15 billion in deficit bonds, and an extra $37 billion for building things. Then there was the financial collapse of 2008. Tax earnings fell sharply. Jobs went away. The budget fell apart. Arnold tried to cut costs and lay off workers, but he still couldn't stop the loss. Every Californian owed the state $2,362 by the end, which was more than twice what they owed when he took office. The state had to pay more than 7% of its spending in interest. Services like healthcare, education, and social work were all hurt. Arnold's promise to fix California's money woes didn't work out. In the end, the numbers told the story. His popularity had dropped to just 23% by 2010. That was less than the governor he replaced who was called back. In 2009, a study put him at 28%. Gray Davis was the only one who had done worse. Lots of people were angry. The budget was a mess. It felt like the promises were broken. Conservatives said he lied to them. Liberals said he only talked. It was getting old for everyone. People also didn't like the state assembly. 17% say yes. California was in a bind. Arnold came in with a lot of star power, swagger, and plans to change things. When he left, the people had moved on, the budget was broken, and his legacy was in pieces. Everything changed on January 4, 2011. Just one day after Arnold Schwarzenegger quit as governor of California. They went to therapy together as a couple. His wife is Maria Shriver. However, this wasn't just about fixing things. It was a sneak attack. Maria wants to know, did you have a child with the housekeeper Mildred? The therapist asked Arnold. Arnold stopped straight in his tracks. After years of lying and hiding, he finally said, "It's true." The truth hit him like a bomb. There was a boy named Joseph Baena. He was born in 1997, just 5 days after Maria had their youngest son, Christopher. Arnold had thought, or tried to think, that Mildred's husband was the father for many years. But every year that went by, Joseph looked more and more like Arnold. Maria had thought about it for a long time. She even talked to Mildred about it before finally asking the question in that room. That moment did more than end the marriage. It came out a 14-year-old secret and broke up a family that everyone used to think of as kings. Arnold would later use scary words to describe the event. He said his heart had stopped. "I told you the truth," he said. "After that, I knew everything would fall apart." Maria didn't scream. She wasn't sad. But the damage happened right away. After 25 years of marriage, that one phrase, "Yes, Joseph is my son," ended it all. Even worse, the time of the betrayal made it hurt even more. In October 1997, Joseph was born. Christopher, Maria and Arnold's youngest kid, was born 5 days before. Arnold was making Batman and Robin in 1996, while Maria and the kids were away. This is when the affair happened. Maria packed up and left soon after she told the truth. Within a few months, she asked for a divorce. In the end, Arnold said, "I hurt Maria, the kids, Joseph, his mother, and everyone else deeply." Neither the marriage nor the boy's life went as planned. Joseph, who was only 13, learned the truth from the media, not his father. The news vans parked outside his Bakersfield home in 2011, so they could get a picture of the boy who had just made the cover of an international tabloid. Mildred, his mother, took him out of school and told him, "We have to go." He was in the 8th grade, just becoming a teenager, and still trying to figure out who he was. Now everyone knew something about him that he didn't even fully understand himself. They ran away to Texas to get away from the chaos. In the end, Joseph would say, "Everything changed overnight. It was changing my body. My life had just turned upside down, and my mind was changing." Arnold and Joseph would become close over time by working out together, but those early days were very hard. Maria, on the other hand, was hurt in more ways than just being betrayed. The last two people she knew were killed, Anunce and Sergeant Shriver, between 2009 and 2011. Her emotional base had already been shook. She was no longer married either. She said it made her feel like she had lost her personality. "It hurt my feelings," she said. "It broke what was left of me." She felt sad, scared, angry, and ashamed all at the same time. She publicly asked for a divorce in July 2011, saying that they could no longer get along. But the court case went on for a long time. After 10 years, the divorce wouldn't be completed until 2021. During that time, Maria looked for ways to get better everywhere she could. There's therapy, meditation, and even spirits and shamans. The end of the marriage wasn't just bad for the couple. It was a very public fall from glory. After the Kennedy legacy and the Hollywood scandal, Maria stood in the middle and tried to keep herself together. Arnold tried to come back. He had a small role in The Expendables in 2010. Fans went crazy, even though it was only shot in 2 hours. Seeing him with Stallone and Bruce Willis again brought back a lot of memories. His part got bigger in Expendables 2, which came out in 2012. It looked like he was back, but he wasn't happy by the time Expendables 3 came out. The writing was bad, and he didn't see the point of his character. He left the 4th movie. His return did not pack the punch he had hoped for. It turned out that people had moved on. In the 1980s, there was an action star who was now in his 60s. Fans still liked him, but things had changed. He was no longer on top. After that, in 2015, Terminator Genisys came out. Arnold went back to the part that made him famous. The price was huge, about $155 million. It was clear what the goal was: bring the series back to life and his star power back. Things didn't go as planned. It opened to only $28.7 million in the US. It only made $44.2 million in the US after 5 days. Wow, that was surprisingly low. It did better outside of the US, making $74 million. But it wasn't enough. It turned into one of the worst Terminator movies ever. Arnold's famous line, "Old but not obsolete," wasn't enough to save it. Studios hoped China would watch it, but people in the West were no longer interested. It wouldn't be the same without Arnold's great years, but there were still bigger problems to deal with. A shocking story came out in the Los Angeles Times. In 2003, right before Arnold ran for governor, several women said he touched them inappropriately and behaved badly. Arnold said at the time that everything was made up. But in the Netflix documentary series, Arnold in 2023, he finally told the truth. Say no to all the reasons, he told her. It wasn't right. Over the years, more than 15 women have come forward to say they had similar experiences, some of which happened 30 years ago. He said sorry late, and it was a strong moment of reckoning. It didn't change the past, but it did show that even famous people have to face the truth at some point. It also had his own statement that he had a child with the housekeeper. He finally took responsibility for what he had been trying to hide. Schwarzenegger was in the news again in 2022, this time for a 4-car accident in Los Angeles. A black GMC Yukon and a red Toyota Prius crashed into each other on Sunset Boulevard. The SUV hit 2 other cars and rolled over the Prius. Arnold was okay. The woman in the Prius, Cheryl Augustin, wasn't though. She hit her head and had blood in her brain. Her lawyer said that she was now forever unable to do things. She sued Arnold, saying he was driving carelessly. She said he wouldn't take blame. The LAPD didn't find any drugs or booze. Even so, the accident showed that one moment behind the wheel can change someone's life forever, and that fame doesn't protect you from civil court. Arnold did everything he could to stay close to all 5 of his children. Joseph Baena is one of them. As much as his affair hurt the marriage, he made sure to be in Joseph's life. The kids he had with Maria, Catherine, Christina, Patrick, and Christopher still show up with him at public events. He tells them all how great they are in conversations and online, and he celebrates their birthdays, big events, and accomplishments. He says that their friendship is great. While this was going on, Joseph made his own way. He was on Dancing with the Stars in 2022, and has been in a few small films. He was even on the cover of Men's Health. He has also done a triathlon and works as a real estate salesman. Though Joseph moves and looks like his father, he's set on making a name for himself in his own way. One thing hasn't healed though: how far away Joseph is from his half-siblings. Joseph doesn't really know Catherine, Christina, Patrick, or Christopher, even though they all share the same father and were born 5 days apart. Neither Catherine nor he were invited to their wedding. He likes what they write online, but they don't follow him back. It's quiet but loud. He's still a sign of treason to them. And that quiet means a lot to Joseph. When the news came out, he and his mother had to leave their house. He knew as a child that he was a part of something bad that was never meant to be seen by the public. Arnold tries to bring them together, but the mental scars are still very fresh. Joseph stands for a lie that caused a family to fall apart. This is Arnold's biggest regret, more than any movie, political loss, or business deal. He's said it many times. He says it was the worst mistake of his life. No one else is to blame. He said, "Everyone was hurt by what I did." He told Maria, the kids, and the women who accused him of being inappropriate that he was sorry. He has tried to be better, but it has already cost him. He says that he never wants Joseph to feel shame for what he did. Arnold may have said the truth there, because his great body, movies, and fame made him seem bigger than life. But it was his mistakes that really showed who he was.